Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with the Network here on the Aha Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Aha Patriot. And for today's episode, we're not going to actually do a cooking episode this time around, even though this is called Cooking with the Network. It's semantics, honestly. Basically, we're going to do a taste test of Entenmann's donuts, because it's the first time I've ever had these donuts, is what it is. And I got a variety pack, so I figured, I would just try, all three that were in there. I think it's 3 different ones. I don't think there's 4 different ones. Unless maybe there was one of them was like devil's food cake and one of them was like regular chocolate donut. I'm not sure, because there was like 4 chocolates and then it was, you had 2 glaze and 2, I think they're like a crumble or something along those lines. So, but we're going to go ahead and do a taste test of those bad boys here in a minute. I also want to talk about for a couple seconds here. Apparently, the Hunter Biden gun trial went as expected, which was basically he was charged on all counts. It makes logical sense given the fact that you had so many pro-2A people defending the guy, because they were like, hey, if we can actually get, if he gets off on this conviction, basically, we can then go and start getting other people that were convicted of the same bullshit off for the exact same thing as what it is. And rightfully so at that point, because that's the thing, right? Like, as much as I personally hate Hunter Biden, as much as I think he's a guilty piece of shit in general, I was all for him getting off on this one just so we could use this case precedent, honestly, to get other people that were convicted for the exact same crimes off and having their rights fucked over and stuff like that. Because I've talked about that many times, honestly. My whole thing of being a 2A advocate and, the reason why I started the network and stuff like that, what it is. Which, by the way, it'll be 2 days from now, as will be our second anniversary. Here's what it is. So, but we've been fighting for rights for people for a while now. I've been fighting since before constitutional carry was passed here for people to get their rights restored and stuff like that with that legislation, but unfortunately didn't happen. So, but anyway, so to go to the donuts we're tasting right now. Obviously, there's our plate. We got the I think this is actually like a nut crumble glaze one or something like that. It has I think it's walnuts or something on it, maybe. Oh, no, crumbly bits. Actually, that was a crumbly bit. This actually looks like a walnut. No, it's not. It's just glazed shit. Yeah. It's awful. And this is obviously just glaze. And then some kind of chocolate. Might be devil's food. Might be just regular. What you call it? We also got a little glass of milk over here too. So. All right. Anyway. So. Go ahead and taste the glaze first here. Not bad. I've had better and I've had worse. This is somewhere in the middle. Yeah. It's okay. I'd say it's about average, honestly, for everything. So. Go ahead and use that milk as a palate cleanser for a sec. Let's go ahead and taste this. I'm taste testing donuts, Daniel. What do you think this is? I feel like the crumbly stuff on this would actually be better if it was like some kind of like walnuts or something. I think just the straight glaze tastes better, honestly, right now. And then we'll go for the chocolate donut here. Chocolate's okay. Actually, it's all okay. It's not, like I said, nothing to write home about, honestly. The only reason I got these is because they had a buy one, get one free deal on them. I'm guessing they're probably trying to rotate old stock, would be my guess. So, pretty sure that Steve 1989 guy still has to get this out into a tray quite a bit. So, which is obviously just a plate. So, yeah. But no, seriously, I'm not trying to be a knockoff for anybody. I'm just trying to do my thing. Here's what it is. It's not like I'm not just doing reviews, but I'm also doing, we're discussing stuff like I mentioned in the first couple minutes there about the whole Hunter Biden gun trial and him being guilty on all charges now. Which, I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting to see what happens with that in general, though, because my feeling on the whole thing is it's definitely going to be a situation there where it's going to be either, yeah, they found him guilty on the initial charges and stuff. Here's what it is, and then it's going to be some appeal like a month or two from now when nobody's paying attention, and it's going to be them being like, okay, now he's not guilty of anything now, and then meanwhile you're going to have other people be like, well, this is some bullshit because you literally have tens of thousands, not millions of people that should also be gunners in this country that have been fucked over in the exact same manner as what it is there for lying on 4473s and stuff like that. Because that's I know for the fact that's one of the charges they got him on is what it was, because he was supposedly claiming he wasn't addicted to drugs in the 4473 background check thing. And of course he was, obviously, because he's a fucking coke / meth head. So, not to mention there's, like, I guess during the trial, his I believe it was sister-in-law, the one that he fucked, that would have been his brother's wife. She came out and was talking about how they smoked crack together. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Apparently all three of the charges are paperwork. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. And like I said, and I've, like, you guys know my stance of Warrior 73s at this point. I've been against them since 2019 when I was federally swatted, and they literally had a fucking list of my guns because of that shit. Because they're all keeping backdoor registries, whether it be the FBI or the ATF or any of the fucking alphabet agencies at this point. It doesn't matter who they are, dude. Like, there's no way they don't have a central database. Like, there's definitely, like, a backdoor database there for them, for sure. It just, the only thing that they want, really, is they want to have legislation passed to make it, like, legit, then is what it is, so they can sit there and be like, oh, yeah, we don't have to fucking, like, lie about doing this now. So, it's all unconstitutional shit is what it is, dude. And the fact of the matter is, dude, like, truthfully speaking, background checks, 4473s in this country, they've never stopped mass shootings. They've never stopped anything, dude. You've had almost every single killer that's committed those things legally passed background checks. At least the ones that actually got their guns legally is what it was there to do those massacres. And, while some of them should have been hurt of people anyway, is what it is, it was all government fuckery and government fuck-ups is what it is there. I mean, hell, you look at, like, I can sit here and talk all day about this ones, dude. Look at the one in Dayton 5 years ago is what it was. That punk-ass piece of shit Antifa fuck stick should have been a prohibited person since 2012, when he was literally going around doing rape and kill us in his high school to make a list of, like, chicks he wanted to rape and people he wanted to kill in his high school then. And even the fucking kids at the school were like, why the fuck is this dude back here a couple days later when he should have been in county jail at that point as a 17-year-old? And I swear to God, it's because his parents literally fucking gave somebody an envelope full of cash. It was up for re-election, is what was there, to get his ass off. Whether it be a sheriff, whether it be a police chief, whatever it was there, doesn't matter. Like, they give somebody money to fucking make the charges go away, kind of thing is what it is there. So, would be my assumption, honestly, at this point. I don't have actually proof of this yet, unfortunately, but, there's got to be some reason why he was let off, is what it is there. When he was clearly a threat to society, is what it was back in those days. So, anyway, and then, of course, you got the guy who committed the Sutherland Springs shooting in that church there. He was actually, should have been dishonorably discharged from the military, and it was U.S. government fucking up on that one to not discharge him correctly, is what it was there, and make him a prohibited person, so he was able to still buy guns then. And it was, Stephen Williford was the one that actually stopped that massacre with his own AR-15 and literally shot the dude right in the fucking neck, is what it was then. and the motherfucker built like a bitch on the side of the road a while later is what it was done. So, yeah, very interesting in general. And then you had the guy who shot Gabby Giffords. He was actually, I want to say his name was Jerry Lee Lautner. That fucking nutter. He, I'm pretty sure was like a psych patient at one point, and yet was still able to buy guns and stuff. We know he should have been, you know, a person because of that stuff, because of mental defect and stuff like that's what it is. And then you had, I guess technically the guy that did the Sandy Hook massacre, he just killed his mom and they stole her shit is what it was. Like that was the only outlier really is what it is. And then you had, I'm trying to think now. Oh yeah, the Parkland guy. He actually was able to get his shit legally, even though he was in institutions multiple times during his life and stuff like that. And then of course you also got that kid in California that was the YouTube dude who was talking about he was that real vain piece of shit and stuff like that, where the whole incel thing started coming up about that after the fact. He was a guy who he should have been multiple times prohibited because being just basically a psych patient since he was a small child. And then I'm not sure exactly what the deal was with that, if he got rights restoration at some point or what it was there, like somehow, but basically he was able to do his thing, go get the guns and stuff, and admitted after the fact. And I've talked about that being a giant circle jerk of fail on that one all the way around, because you had his parents, specifically it was his mother, who was so frightened her son was going to do something, she had the cops go and do a welfare check on him and stuff like that. And he even said later on in like one of his ramblings that had the cops actually asked to look into his bedroom that he was living in, because he was living in like an apartment building or whatever, with like multiple roommates is what it was at the time, because that's I think it was two people he killed was actually his roommates there. And yeah, you had this fucking guy go and do that bullshit, and he's like, yeah, if they had just checked my room, they would have saw my arsenal of guns at that point. And yeah, that was a fail on the fucking cops part on that one, dude, 100%. Not to mention a fail on the system to even let that piece of shit ever get a hold of firearms in this country. And then, you know, so forth and so on. But then again, you know, you got these other people that are out there being like, you know, God forbid somebody has this, like, a fucking similar name to somebody else and stuff like that, and doesn't have that little, there's like a weird, like, ID card thing you can do, basically, where it's like a PIN number almost, for you as an individual, so you don't get, like, denied or whatever the case be. But yeah, there's been, like, so many denials because of some dude named, like, Bill Smith or something like that. That's what it is, dude. Or, like, Alex Jones or something, you know? Like, I guarantee people have been denied based on, like, names like that. That's what it is, dude. Like, the common names, like the Jones, the Smiths, etc. there. So, and it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, man. In fact, I want to know how many Casey Jones are out there right now that have been denied over the years. Because I'm sure it's a lot, honestly. And then, of course, you got these fucking assholes in Congress that are a bunch of oath-breaking fuckers who want to sit there and bitch and moan about, like, oh, yeah, you know, we should totally make a no-fly, no-buy list thing. That's like, yeah, and half the people on that no-fly list shouldn't be on the no-fly list, you assholes, so go fuck yourselves. Seriously. It's fucking pathetic and disgusting is what it is, man. It's very infuriating, too, for that matter. And, of course, you got that bitch Lucy Macbeth the other day, who's a mom's main action fucking plant in Congress, pushing for some bullshit. I was actually supposed to go out and vote today, apparently, because we had our special election for the guys that are going to finish out Bob Lettis' term in District 6 here, which I just said, fuck, I'm not going to vote today is what it is, because, in my opinion, why are we even having this special election when you literally have literally 5 months until the fucking general election where these same two guys are going to face off again? So potentially you could have a sitting congressman for 5 months facing off with, like, a dude, and they're considered to be the incumbent now is what it is. And my sister and I actually got in this conversation earlier today about the whole appointments and stuff like that, why we should just appoint people and stuff like that to certain things depending on time frames and shit. And that's what it really is, honestly, dude, because it's like, yeah, it's fucking dumb to have a special election wasting taxpayer money to do so is what it is, when you could just as easily have, like, governor of a state or whatever, that'd be like, okay, I'm just going to appoint this person for the next, like, 4 months or something like that's what it is there. you know, or even allow the person that's leaving to pick their successor for a minute is what it is there. You know what I'm saying? It could just as easily be like, Bob Letta being like, hey, I want this person to take over for me for the rest of my term right now. And they could just easily put that person in that place, and that's what it is. So, because that was one thing I was talking to my sister about, is the way that our state laws work here in Ohio when it comes to state level stuff too. So you can basically have somebody that gets into office at the end of this year, goes into the Ohio General Assembly, let's say the State House next year is what it is, January 4th or so of 2025, gets, sworn into office there is what it is, dies 4 days later on like the 8th or the 9th or whatever it is going to be then, that person could be immediately replaced by appointment for a 2-year term. Like, tell me how the fuck that's right at all. And the reason I say that specifically is because you actually had one of our state reps, Chris Jordan, who was one of the best 2A fighters for us. He ended up dying last year, like very early on in the General Assembly. I'm not sure exactly what that was. It was like a random, by the way, it wasn't jabs. Like it was just like a random unexpected death. I don't know if he had like a stroke or what it was there or something. But yeah, something happened where he just like passed very early, and he was only like in his, I think, 40s, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe just under 40. I think he was just over 40, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was very, very, very sad in general. And yeah, we lost a huge 2A fighter in the state house at that point, man. Because if it wasn't for Chris Jordan, we wouldn't have constitutional carry in the state right now. He was the one, along with oh god, I'm trying to think what that guy's name was now. The other guy is now out of our General Assembly because the term was what it is there. And it was those two dudes, but more or less it was Chris being the really like go-to gung-ho guy about it, who was like, no, we need to get constitutional carry on the books, dude, here in Ohio. And he was able to, basically nudge and get everybody off their asses to actually do the shit is what it was then. So, and yeah, unfortunately he passed and was replaced by some rando. And I've talked about this many, many times on Twitter/X to various county GOP people, to state GOP people, and I'm like, dude, why the fuck is this law even in place right now? Like, again, like, if there was a reason to have a special election, like, this would be it, honestly. Or again, like, okay, sorry, you don't have representation for like, a month or two until we have a fucking general election, or whatever it is there, dude. Like, I could see something where it would be like, let's go ahead and say now, like, somebody would leave the General Assembly or would die unexpectedly or whatever it is there from like some random disease or whatever it is there or something. Like, I could totally see, like a governor's appointment, or even like, because how it works, honestly, is it's supposed to be whatever major party they're part of, like Democrat or Republican or whatever it is there. You then have them being replaced by their party is what it is there, and having somebody appointed by that party is what it is, which to me is kind of bullshit, honestly, because this is exactly how people like Letitia Humphreys has gotten to our General Assembly now, is because she was an appointed position, and now she's a state rep because literally nobody was primarying her ass out of fucking office is what it is there, dude. Which is so dumb to me, because it's like, you have this Democrat stronghold in Columbus that shouldn't even exist, by the way. And then what's even more retarded is when you look at the AP for this special election here from my district currently for Congress, they're like, oh, but these are on the same gerrymandered maps that Ohio Supreme Court under Maureen O'Connor's fucking rhino ass deemed unconstitutional. It's like, yeah, because Maureen O'Connor literally was handed a fucking fat stack of cash by that fucking cunt Allison Russo 2 fucking years ago. You fucking dolts. Actually, it was like 3 years ago now, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I guarantee that fat ass envelope full of cash that MDA gave Allison Russo went straight to Maureen O'Connor's fucking pocket, is my guess, honestly, on this one. And if they actually looked at CCTV footage for that time, I guarantee it was something where you actually saw the fucking envelope switch hands a couple times there, right into Marine's pocket, then eventually, or her bank account for that matter. So it wouldn't be hard to figure out, people. The problem is somebody wants to do their job is what it is, because it would actually mean doing work instead of taking 3 months off and fucking having a big old bunch of bullshit here is what it is, dude. Which, as far as I'm aware, I think the Ohio General Assembly is currently on vacation for their summer break until literally September is what it is. Or if it's not quite yet, it might be like maybe next week or so is when they're going out then. But yeah, it's just bullshit entirely, dude. And it's like, the fact they're not going to be in until after 9/11 then is absolutely fucking ridiculous is what it is, dude. Meanwhile, this entire time that they're off for breaks, they're getting paid every single day. $100 and something a day to be a state rep or state senator. So it's like, must be nice, man. Must be real nice, honestly. Making that sweet, sweet fucking state rep money and state senator money to the tune of like $60-something thousand a year before you actually are part of a committee chair or anything like that, where you can make another $10,000 stipend, basically, is what it is. Which is why so many people were pissed when Jason Stevens kicked them off of committee chairs there, was because they're like, motherfucker, you taking money out of my pocket. It's like, motherfucker, you shouldn't be getting any extra money for that. Go fuck yourself. Like, seriously. It's like you're already getting paid like almost $70,000 a fucking year, dude. Like, what more do you want? Oh, you want $80,000 a year? Fuck yourself, dude. Seriously. Fucking ridiculous is what it is, man. Like, that's the problem with the government, too, is, like, if they ever have a chance to do something that will better themselves, they will always fucking do it, man. Every single goddamn time. I swear to God, bro. Every fucking time. Like, literally every fucking time, no matter what. These motherfuckers will sit there, and they will do what they need to do to better themselves and fuck everybody else is what it is then. It's a bunch of shit, dude. It's very infuriating. It really does get me going, man. And justifiably so, because again, it goes back to a whole situation where it's like, you have these people who, in many cases, are just scumbags. They suck. They really fucking do, man. Like, they never do anything that betters me as a fucking constituent. They always try to do something that betters themselves, is what it is. Just like when they passed constitutional carry, it didn't actually better us completely because they fucking, ripped a bunch of shit out of it that should have made it better to begin with. Or even like Stand Your Ground. They passed Stand Your Ground. They should have passed a clean version of Stand Your Ground. Instead, they were like, oh, we don't have the votes, even though we have the fucking supermajority of Republicans in the state. So let's go ahead and water this shit down to take out civil liability. And now you can actually be lawsuited for fucking killing somebody in self-defense is what it is, from their dickhead fucking criminals' family is what it is there, man. It's a bunch of shit entirely. And that's why I'm sitting here trying to work with the Ohio Gunners, too, for that matter, and do, like, 2A org merge and stuff like that on these kind of things. So we can actually get a good, cleaner version of Stand Your Ground passed through this year is what it is to actually fix the fucking problems, as well as a better version of constitutional carry for that matter, too, on the top of that, then. To take out that bullshit Terry stop crap is what it is. So, and I would personally love to see constitutional carry actually drop down to 18 and over, just because it's fucking dumb to have, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds get their rights fucked over because they're simply carrying a gun for self-protection is what it is there, in a state that doesn't allow them to have that ages, which is bullshit because you can legally join the military at 18 and 17 with a fucking parental signature. But yet, God forbid, man, you come back here and actually want to, carry and be defensible versus some fucking criminal in your own country. It's fucking ridiculous what it is, dude. And then, of course, you got dickheads out there like Cecil Thomas, who a couple years ago, when he was still a state senator, now he's a state rep again because he fucking broke term limits and just flip-flopped the assembly is what it is there. Just like all these fuckers love to do is what it is, dude. But Democrat and Republican both, and I'm getting sick and tired of that shit, honestly, to the point where I'm seriously about to lead a citizen initiative pretty soon. Here's what it is: do one county, one rep legislation, and in that, it's an automatic thing where if you try to break term limits like that, your ass is fucking in jail at that point because enough is this goddamn corruption bullshit, dude, entirely. So, anyway, but Yeah, the entire point I'm trying to make though is that you had dickhead Cecil Thomas go on this whole tirade about trying to basically up the age of purchase for rifles at 21, and people were calling his ass out, and it's like, how fucking dumb is it that you then have people can go into the military at 18 years old and not come back to their own country and buy a 1022 to go plinking with because of stupid age requirement stuff. And yeah, it's absolutely fucking retarded what it is, man. So forward out from me, buddy. So anyway, but yeah, I think that's pretty much over today, though. To reiterate, going back to the donut review, here's what it is. The glaze isn't bad. I think it's better when you dip it in the milk, though. The crumbly one was just kind of eh. The chocolate one's okay. I think it was probably the best of. Actually, technically, the glaze is probably the best of the three because the chocolate is has like a weird kind of aftertaste to it, so it might be like some like really like cheap ass chocolate or something like that. And that's the problem. Usually you don't fuck up a chocolate donut, or you can't really fuck up a chocolate donut, but like apparently some people figure out a way when they use like really shitty cheap ass chocolate. What it is, man. So like I said, will I buy these again? Probably not. Was it really just a one and done because it was a buy one get one free? Yeah, pretty much. I just wanted some donuts is what it was. So, but yeah, like I said, these ain't bad, but they're not really anything to write home about. Is what it is. It's like middle of the pack of stuff, basically. Like I've had worse, obviously. Like I've had like shit that I couldn't fucking finish. Honestly, I had to toss in the trash, basically. And this is not that, honestly. This is like, a little bit mid range is what it is there, but it's not like high end shit where it's like, oh, this is the best donut I've ever had kind of thing is what it is, dude. Which I think still on that one goes to there's a place called Mary Ann Donuts. That's down at the flea market near where my aunt lives. And it's a bunch of Amish people, or actually it might be Mennonites now I'm thinking about it. I think they're Mennonites actually. That make the donuts down there is what it is. For those who don't know, the difference between Amish and Mennonite is basically Amish cannot use electricity. Mennonites can use it in like limited capacity and stuff like that. And I think in some cases they do drive to, they actually have like vehicles and they drive and stuff like that. A little bit here and there, not a whole bunch of them, but like a few in their, communities do that stuff. Is what it is for them then. But yeah, so basically, the Mennonites are the ones doing that donut making down there is what it is. And yeah, I'll tell you what, those women make some really fucking good donuts, dude. Like really fucking good donuts. So if you get them fresh off the line, or even like within like a half hour or so, like, oh my god, bro, they're so. And we're talking about glazed donuts too, by the way. And it's like I'm not usually a fan of glazed donuts, but like I don't know if it's something they do to the glaze or what it is, but it's just like, oh my god, this is so fucking good, like for real. So I'm gonna have to get one of those here in a couple of weeks when I'm gonna see my aunt. Actually, is what it is, and hang out at the farm for a while. So, but anyway, but yeah, other than that though, that's pretty much it for the day. I think I'm gonna go try to take a nap for a couple hours because I ended up falling asleep here in the chair this morning, and it was just. It's been a weird day, man. So, plus my ankle area seems to be swelling a little bit, so it's not good. And I definitely want to lay out and see if that'll help it out. Then if that'll be the case, so maybe put on my compression stocking if I can find it for a couple hours while I'm napping or something. So anyway, probably just need to hydrate like crazy is what it is, and see about getting that in the system and see if that'll help out with the swelling and stuff. Maybe I don't know. I just know our fucking shit is all fluxing weirdly is what it is now. Like yesterday was actually perfect. It was actually kind of cool. Like in a cold way almost, like literally like fall, like hoodie temperatures more or less. And then today it's kind of like you can tell it's definitely starting to kick back up a little bit into the heat now, to where I almost need a fan on right now, but not quite yet. And then I think definitely though, I'm gonna have to have a fan on tomorrow for sure, though, because it's supposed to be back in like I think like 80s or something like that right now. Actually, right now it's going to be 70 degrees currently. Which it feels like that outside, but definitely not in this house right now because the way that the house is like warming and stuff like that, or cooling, whatever. Yeah. But we have the TV on in the background right now. They're advertising a thing called the Ellipse, which is a weird little like pedal bike thing for your feet to get better circulation and stuff. Maybe that's what I need right now, is one of those things. Maybe looking at that when I'm moving, get some money in my pocket or whatever the case be then. So, anyway. And of course, you got House of the Dragon coming back here on the 16th, which I believe is this coming Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this coming Sunday. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of over that show, and it's because it took so long for it to come back now. Because it's been, what, like 2 years since the first season had dropped or whatever the case be. It really is one of those things where you need to go back and like rewatch the whole fucking season. That's what it is then for the first season, to go and be like totally like, okay, here's season 2 now is what it is. Because it's been so damn long now. So I was actually trying to watch Mayor of Kingstown earlier this morning. It's actually a pretty good. I wish they would drop that show all at once, is what it is, man, because that's a great series. And it definitely needs to be binged, is what it is. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of glad they took out Diane Weist's character after season 2, man, because she was just, like, she really was a do-nothing character in that series. Like, of everybody that was in that show, she was definitely, like, the most mediocre character of all of them, dude. Whereas she was just kind of, like, filler, in my opinion. Like she was just some lady who was just kind of there for her sons, is what it was. Like, on occasion, and they tried to make, like, storylines for her, but it didn't really work, it seems like. So I'm guessing that's why they're like, yeah, let's drop this bullshit and just focus on like the good storylines, like the drug dealers and stuff like that. So, which I will give one thing: the dude who plays Bunny in that show, the black guy, I think that's the first thing that actor guy's ever done, or at least the first thing I ever know him from anyway. And that dude is a really good actor, at least in that role anyway. Like I wouldn't mind seeing him actually picked as like something for like Marvel in the future or something like that, like one of these characters or whatever the case be, because there's like some kind of overweight characters and stuff like that dude could easily portray and stuff, whereas race wouldn't really matter in that situation. I mean, hell, Marvel race swaps like crazy anyway, so what the fuck. So yeah, they could easily have that dude being like, I don't know, somebody in there that's like a bigger dude or overweight guy, whatever the case be. I mean, technically, if that dude got like really jacked, he could probably be a good Black Goliath. I think that's what that character's name was. I'm trying to remember what the actual dude's name was that was behind that superpowered individual. I can't recall offhand right now. I know he was like an Avenger at some point, though. He's like one of like the like lesser known Avengers, and I think he was also part of the Thunderbolts at one point too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was actually a decent character though. So, but anyway, I've actually been catching up recently on Orange is the New Black, because I watched like I think most of that show when it first had come out, to where I had caught like the first few seasons or whatever after it had been on for a couple of years, what it was there. And then it was like, I think it was either season 4 or season 5 was the one I was like waiting episode to episode to get, is what it was then, years ago. And then eventually it was I had just I think it was roughly around season 5 is where I'd stopped watching, because it kind of went like, as I consider it to be, like full retard basically. And yeah, it was just kind of it like felt like it was going downhill and stuff like that. So I just completely skipped out on the rest of the series, what it was then. So I never actually watched season 6 or 7, but I've heard they're supposed to be like decent, is what it is. And they actually explain like how these chicks go to like the super max after the fact because of like some riot they do in like the earlier seasons or whatever then. So I kind of want to see what happens there, is what it is, and give an honest opinion on that series after I watch the whole thing, is what it is then. So, but yeah, I really think honestly like the where I'm at right now, which is season 4 in that show, like that was really like in my opinion, like the best seasons of that series basically was like that, and then like the season 5 writing and stuff like that. Although I will say, Samara Wiley is the worst actress ever, in my opinion, or maybe not the worst actress ever, because I think maybe Amy Schumer just beats her out on that one. But maybe she's like, yeah, I guess maybe it would be the second worst actress ever. But yeah, she's definitely fucking terrible. And the real problem is they give her way too much screen time in that Orange is the New Black series as the Pusey Washington character. And it's just like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, you had a really good fucking episode, and then it's like you just have this bitch on screen for like 2 minutes, and it's just like it just ruins everything. Like you had like the perfect fucking synergy up to that point, and it's basically just like shoehorning in this random ass character for no reason at all is what it is, man. It's just so dumb. It really is. It's just completely retarded is what it is. So, but yeah, that's the real problem with shows like that, man, is they'll just like shoehorn stupid shit like that in, which I feel like that was one of the shows though that was like done really before the whole like glad agenda of like the whole gay representation stuff and stuff like that, because like the entire series basically is about a lot of like lesbian chicks behind bars in many cases there. Like it's not just like one or two people, man. It's like quite a few of them chicks are like muff diving and stuff like that. So, which I will give John J. Koa one thing. That's the same chick that did Weeds, by the way. For those who don't know, she's also the writer, exec producer of Orange is the New Black too, if I'm not mistaken. There, and there's a couple episodes every season that she actually wrote. I think it was usually the first one and the last one. So it was like the season premieres and the season finales or something like that. And then in between it was like other people writing and directing and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll give her one thing. She definitely knows how to do random nudity in series, dude, because there is so much random nudity in this show. And in many cases, it's almost like blink and you'll miss it kind of stuff, where it's just like some chick like walking through the fucking shop, basically, like in a bathroom, and then just like walking out of frame again. And yeah, like there is some decent toplessness for sure in this show. Like usually it's not obviously full like bush or anything like that. Like it's mostly just tits and stuff. But like yeah, like there's some pretty decent looking chicks in that series that they show topless. And then there's some that's just like, yeah, I didn't need to see that, man. Like I really didn't need to see that. So, but anyway. And you guys know what I'm talking about if you ever watch the show, man, because there's definitely like some of those chicks who are just like, ugh. Although I will say one thing. This is one thing that always bothers me about shows like that, where you have like random guaranteed nudity and stuff like that, is if you're gonna do contracts with people, like especially with the female leads and stuff like that, dude, like there really should be like an actual guaranteed contract negotiation thing in there where during that series every single one of these females has to do at least one topless scene, because there's several of those chicks I would have loved to see topless and they just never fucking showed that shit, and I'm just like, damn it, because that's the thing, right? You see one pair of tits, you want to see them all, kind of thing in most cases, unless they're like really 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 old and just nah, I'm good on that. But nah, like that's the whole thing, man. It's like, yeah, I want you to see one, you want to see them all, man. But anyway, but no, that is a really good series for like random toplessness and stuff like that for sure, and like random nudity and stuff. But then again, there's like also just like weird shit in it too, for that matter. But there is quite a bit of comedy in there. I will give them that though. Like it's one of the few things that was written as a comedy series and stuff like that. I think it's actually a dramedy, if I'm not mistaken, is how they pronounce it. So it'd be like comedy drama. And I could definitely see both sides of that, because there's definitely like there's like some real funny characters in that show, and then there's some people that are just like, why is this person even here, kind of thing. Like they bring nothing to the table on this one, dude. So anyway, but yeah, it just seems like, I don't know, like the whole thing just feels like like I feel like the storylines in some of the cases could have been written a little better in those first few seasons, though, for sure. But like in general, I understand it's supposed to be based off of a woman who is the consultant. It was a Piper Kerman or Herman or something like that, who was the actual chick that went to prison for pretty much this exact same thing as what it was. And this is supposed to be a series based off of her life events, is what it was during her prison time or something, which obviously with Hollywood, they exaggerate the shit out of stuff to make it, more entertaining and stuff like that. Because most of the time it's not going to be, oh yeah, you walk into a woman's prison and you're sitting there like eating pussy like 10 minutes later or something like that kind of thing. So anyway, or it's like some fucking guards like banging you on the fucking broom closet like 20 minutes later or something like that. Like that's just not how life is, man. Now, granted, that being said, I have heard some things from some people in this state, even because we do have a couple Supermaxes in the state of Ohio, is what it is, to where you can literally pay off female guards with like prepaid credit cards, is what it is, to bang the female guards, is what it is in some of these prison systems, and it's just like, yeah, that's super fucking illegal. So, anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the day, though. Like I said, going to the Entenmann's review there, taste test of the donuts there. They were okay. Like mid-grade, basically. Like somewhere between like a 4 and a 6, I would say, honestly. Probably nothing higher than this. Actually, maybe more like a 4 or 5, honestly, on that one. So yeah, definitely like middle of the road at best. And then, like I said, I've had stuff that's like way worse than that, to where it was like almost inedible or completely inedible in some cases. And I've also had stuff that's like way better than these. So let me see here. So I think I tried to watch the first episode and I just got bored because it seemed like it was just dragging its feet to do anything, and I just didn't care to watch it after. That's what it was then. So I heard it's good. Like I understand, I guess it's about time travel to some extent or something, which is cool, but like that's my problem, right? I'm not like NEA is, dude. Like I know Matt, he'll sit there and watch like anything, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a slow burn or it's like a really slow build," and it's like that's my problem though, is the autism. Like once my autistic shit kicks in and my autistic issues kick in and stuff like that, dude, like I just can't focus on something if it's like so fucking slow and dull and like takes like 25 minutes to get anywhere. Like that was the thing, dude. Oh my God, bro. I still haven't watched Fallout because I tried to watch the first episode and holy fucking shit, bro. I swear to God, I was watching that show for like 45 minutes for like a 15 to 20 minute fucking scene is what it was, the one chick's backstory, because it was that slow. And I'm just like, how is this not over yet? Like it was bad, bro. So yeah, I didn't even get past the first episode of that fucking show. But I heard it's like really good after that though. So I definitely need to go back and like, subject myself to that fucking agony. And this is what it is, dude. So I can actually go and do it like an because I talked to Corey about this actually, and having not played the Fallout games and stuff like that, he actually wanted me to do a whole like honest review of that series and stuff like that as somebody who's never played the games and stuff. So I think maybe I will one of these days. It might not be until after I move out of the house. That's what it is. So like it might be sometime this fall or even like the end of the year maybe and stuff. So but anyway, I don't know, man. It's all fucking wild. So but yeah, I mean, there's a couple of shows I am interested in, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I just find some of the stuff to be like so dull and boring in the first episode or two is what it is. It's like it's hard to get into the series is what it is for me personally. Like you need like my thing has always been you got to have a good pace. Like you don't need it like too fast, you don't need it too slow. It needs to be like that medium kind of pace of like just continuous movement and stuff like that. But that's the problem with some of these shows is it's just like it's a continuous movement, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and it takes you like 20 minutes to get to those 4 steps, basically. And it's like, it's just so fucking slow, bro. And I think that's one reason why I like Mayor of Kingstown. Like, it's not like overly like fast or anything like that, but it's like a very good pace, is what it is there. And it gives you like everything you want in a storyline. And also gives zero fucks about cursing too, for that matter, which is nice. So, which I know for a fact that it was that Hugh Dillon guy, the bald dude that was in Yellowstone as the cop at one point, who's also a cop in this Mayor of Kingstown series. It was actually him and Taylor Sheridan that wrote Mayor of Kingstown together, is what it was. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hugh Dillon is actually, I think he's written a couple episodes himself, is what it is there. And I think he might have also directed at least one episode of that show so far, is what it is. And I want to see some kind of producer on the series as well, for that matter. So, but yeah, it's pretty good though. So, I think actually one of my favorite episodes of that show so far would have been, I think it was the second season there. Because you obviously the first season of that show is basically, so let's talk about Mayor of Kingstown, a little breakdown of that show real quick. Essentially what it is it's supposed to be this town, fictional town in Michigan, I believe is what it is there, that you have like a whole bunch of prisons in, and it's supposed to be like essentially like the prison capital of the world or whatever the case be. And what it is, you basically have all these gangs inside the prison system that whatever they do inside the prison affects the outside community there as a whole in this Kingstown place, because it's basically the gangs control the town is what it is there. And you have what is essentially a facilitator, which is, I believe, I can't remember what the guy's name originally was, that was supposed to be the older brother in the Mayor of Kingstown show that gets, in the first episode. Spoiler alert, you haven't watched the show yet. And then, of course, it's Jeremy Renner's character that takes over because he's a younger brother, the guy that gets murked out, basically. And then you have, and by the way, even Mayor of Kingstown, like that first episode is like kind of slow to begin with. And it took me a little bit, it actually took me years to get into that show because it was right before the second season started, I believe was what it was. Or actually, now I think about it, it was I believe it was 2 episodes of the second season were at the time. And I decided to go back and just watch the entire first season. I'm just like, wow, this actually is a really good show, because I had tried to watch it previous to that, is what it was, and I couldn't get past that first episode because it was just kind of slow and boring to a point where I sort of stopped, which was sad, because right where I stopped, it was like 5 minutes after that, like a bunch of crazy shit happens and it gets fucking awesome. So yeah, it really is like kind of like a slow burn for like the first half of the first episode there, and then it just like everything fucking kicks off and goes nuts. But yeah, the first season of that show is basically, the end of it is a prison riot, and then it basically kicks off into season 2, which is where you have like all the fucking shit popping off out in the everyday town there that's surrounding these prisons, what it is there. And one of the things they do in that is they have like some gangbangers over toss like a dog into some dude's sunroof. And then, yeah, you just have this dude go like ape shit on the fucking dog and like megged up the fucking dog. And it's like, God damn, bro. Like, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like crazy shit like that. It's like, Jesus Christ, buddy. And the reason I think that that particular episode was like one of the better ones in that show so far is because it's like, it was just so fucking crazy and random. I'm like, damn, dude, like, Jesus. So, and again, you'll have like crazy shit like that happen like every so often in the series is what it is then. So, like, I would say really expect the unexpected is what it is there. But anyway, so, but yeah, I think I'm going to finish up this week's Mayor of Kingstown then, and then I'm going to go take a nap for a couple hours. It'll be, because I'm not feeling the greatest today. I don't know if Honda's going to do a chat later tonight or not. Hopefully he does, but who the hell knows. I'm not going to do a takeover chat if he doesn't. If Tactical wants to do one, if Honda doesn't do a chat, that's on him. I'm not forcing him to do anything either for that matter, but like for me personally, I'm just like, it's whatever. Again, my joints are not, actually, come to think of it now, I'm thinking about it right now, my joints are not hurting anywhere near as bad as they were 2 days ago. Or even yesterday for that matter. Like, they're still aching, obviously, but like to a lesser extent. And I'm kind of wondering if it is the weather at this point, because I know for a fact we had like that weather dip where it got colder, which would make sense to bring up joint inflammation and stuff like that. And it would also make sense that, now it's getting sort of into warmer weather again, maybe that's like allowing my joints to not be quite as stiff as they were, because I felt very stiff in the last few days as it is now, even taking my shot the other day. So, and then again, it could be too that I was, took a half of some stuff last night, so it could be that also. You know, the Benoids doing their job to naturally take care of inflammation and stuff like that. So who knows? But yeah, anyway, to reiterate one last time, the Entenmann's donuts, they're mid-grade at best. So not super bad, not super great, somewhere in the middle. You know, if you just want a sugary, sweet snack, there you go. If you think you can find something better, then yeah, go grab something better is what it is, dude. But like I said, really with this thing, it was a buy one, get one free deal. And I said, fuck it, let's get two of them is what it is then. I'll try them out for the first time. If I don't like them, I'm not going to get them again. That's what it is. And yeah, like it's kind of, like I said, they're not, like I'll obviously eat what I have right now, but yeah, I'm probably just never going to buy them again. That's what it is there. Because there's other better quality donuts on the market and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, other than that though, it's been fun. It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Always be carrying because you never know if some nut's going to come up and try to slash you and your child or anything else for that matter. Or you got some fucking crazy motherfucker in some leftist city like Austin, Texas going on a whole stabbing spree the other day, too, for that matter. So, yeah, you never know when somebody's going to try and blade you, man. So you got to be ready with that 2A and potentially that non-lethal is what it is. Just like mace him in the fucking face if you have to and stuff like that, dude. So, anyway, maybe a little thing of palm spray or something like that, or maybe some like guard dog, wherever you have at that point, you can find is what it is, man. Should work out well for you. So, I think one of these days, if I know for a fact I'm not going to be doing anything for like a week or two, I may actually do a challenge where I mace myself just because. And really, it would be. Because really, it needs to be a thing where it's like, you know, knowing what I know and having never been pepper sprayed or anything like that in my life, I kind of want to get maced just because I want to know the feeling of it and know if I can actually fight through it or not is what it is. So, because I'm sure I probably can't. Because I know eventually you can build a tolerance up to the shit if you do it enough or whatever the case be, but it's not like I'm going to, you know, mace myself a bunch of times in the face just because of that. But no, I'd like to try is what it is once and like, you know, experience the pain just in case I ever do experience it again is what it is by accident or something, or, you know, God forbid I'm like, you know, in a situation where I have to like pull my stuff in self-defense and I end up, you know, downwind from it and it kind of hits me in the back spur, whatever the case be. Like I want to make sure I can fight through that to still have, you know, an advantage in the actual fight itself is what it is then. So anyway. But yeah, other than that though, like I said, it's been fun, it's been real. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe. Peace out. Later.